vampires, let's talk about Blade. So the other day, I saw there was a story that was going around that Blade was in the process of being handed over to Chad Stahelski. Now, Chad Stahelski, for those of you who don't know, I did mention him earlier before we were, during the banter talk, that he's directed all the John Wick movies. So John Wick 1 through 4. I believe he's also set to start. I don't know when he's going to start filming it, but I know he's talking about that he's supposed to be in the throes of working on a Highlander reboot with uh, Henry Cavill. So there was a scooper or somebody who I've never heard of. So we're going to file this under the rumor mill, and I'll just give my overall thoughts on it. But someone called Your Only Hope, which is at YR Only Hope on Twitter, said that he had heard some stuff about Blade, relaying that speculation about John Wick director Chad Stahelski coming on board is incorrect. Now, to address that, me personally, I would love to see Chad Stahelski take on a Blade movie. I believe around the time when he was not set to direct, when he was promoting John Wick 4, because, in addition to Keanu Reeves and stuff out here promoting the movie and everything. We love Keanu over here. I already told y'all that's my Virgo twin. We both share a birthday, September 2nd. So I'll always refer to Keanu Reeves as my Virgo twin. But in regards to the whole situation, Keanu's been out here, and then also Chad Stahelski does like interviews and stuff, and he's very talkative and very excited about. And I always like directors who have an opinion and stuff. Him and Ryan Coogler, they're really good at that. So there was a rumor that he said, not a rumor, he was asked if there was a franchise or whatever, if he was ever to come into the MCU, what movie that would he like to direct? And I think he said that he wanted to do a Blade movie. And I was like, oh my God, that's so perfect, because if you take like Blade and put him in a world where he fights like a John Wick type character, I've always said like, I need a Blade movie that's like John Wick or The Raid. If you could do something like that, speaking of which, Gareth Edwards, who I believe directed uh those movies, The Raid, that and the second one. I was wondering if we were ever going to get a third. I don't know if we're going to get a third, but I've always thought that, okay, why didn't they ever make a part 3 of that? Because I love the Raid movies. But if you can kind of set Blade in that world where he fights brutal like that, I feel like that would be such a good movie to want to see, because that's what we want. Simple storyline, really cool action set pieces, a lot of crazy martial art fights, and do, that sort of thing. And I know a lot of people say Mahershala Ali is getting up there in age, and yeah, he is. He's in his 50s. But here's the thing. You know how many damn stunt people you can put up in there and have them do like all the difficult fight stuff? You can do like the dots on his face and take, Mahershala's face and put it on a stunt double to make it look like he's doing certain stunts if it's way beyond what he's able to do. But if you want to do like the close-ups of where he can do some of the action, then that would work. But even Wesley Snipes had a stunt double, and somebody who was stepping in and doing some of his stuff in Blade. It wasn't all just him. He did majority of it, but he had a stunt double and stuff up in there too. If you look real close in certain scenes in the Blade movies, especially the first one, you could definitely see like that wasn't all Wesley Snipes in a lot of those situations. So I know, like, yeah, Wesley Snipes is that dude, but in certain situations, because of insurance and all this other stuff, they're not going to let him get away with the same stuff that they would let a Tom Cruise. Which I don't understand why y'all just be letting Tom Cruise get away with murder. I mean, he had at one point when he did that Mission Impossible movie and he broke his damn foot doing that jump, they had to be out of commission for weeks. So I was like, yeah, let the stunt doubles come in and do all the difficult stuff. But if there's certain things you want to be able to do, then let them do it. So yeah, he basically said that Chad Stahelski is not doing it. So that's a bummer, because I would love to have seen Chad Stahelski come in and do the film. But he's got a lot on his plate. In addition to Highlander, I think on his Wikipedia, I mean, like on his it might have been his Wikipedia, he's got like almost 10 projects in the works. And I don't know how he's going to fit all that in, because movies take a long time to film and to be a part of. And plus, we're supposed to be getting a John Wick 5, which they already announced a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know how he's going to be able to fit in a Blade movie. But I would have loved for them to be like, okay, well, delay some of these films and let him come in and do a Blade movie. And it would work. But I'm sure there's enough people on that team at 8711. Y'all could get Gareth Edwards to come in and do it, or even though he's not part of the 8711 series, team, have him come in, or maybe the guy who directed the first two Extraction movies. Why not have him do it? Now, I'm sure there's enough stunt people out here who want to get their feet wet in the whole action world, or people who have that experience, and you can have them come in and take care of your movie. Or maybe even Len Wiseman, who did Underworld, and most recently the upcoming Ballerina movie. Why not have him come in and do it? So there's people that y'all can find to bring in that whole situation. So then, yeah, he's also brought up the delayed Nova TV series, which, Marvel is no longer working on as a point of comparison. They said that's similar to how development on Nova could easily resume. Blade could be revived down the line. Now, Blade being canceled doesn't mean that Marvel is going away with Ali. However, Your Only Hope says Marvel will look to introduce Blade in a different project, listing the rumored Midnight Suns or Avengers Secret Wars as possibilities. They all mentioned the idea of having giving Blade a supporting role in a film, citing Namor in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Well, I don't know if I actually like that, but here's the Twitter thread, because I made sure I left that open so that way when I come, I can talk to you about it. So yeah, in his Twitter thread, he said the following. He said, I heard some Blade news I trust, filed under rumor for now. If you want / take it with a grain of salt, I'm okay with that. Well, yeah, let's do that. But we'll entertain it, because that's what we do on this show. He said, I'm told the rumors that John Wick filmmaker Chad Stahelski could take over the franchise is incorrect. In fact, the creative direction of Blade has totally shifted. I need more specifics on that. What is the creative direction? While Mahershala Ali is still attached all these years later, despite some of the talk that he was being difficult about approving scripts, from what I'm hearing, the Blade movie is essentially nixed for now. Then he says, now that doesn't mean we won't get a Blade movie someday. Take Nova, for example. The series got scrapped for now. In other words, pencils have been put down and active development is shuttered for the moment, but who knows, we could still get it down the line. The same has essentially happened to the Blade movie. So what does that mean for Ali and the character? Well, they'll still use him and introduce him another way. Blade will likely be introduced normally in either the still developing Midnight Suns movie or Avengers Secret Wars, or possibly as a supporting character in another movie, like the way Namor was first introduced in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, if I were a betting man, I would say likely not Secret Wars, as Marvel tends to not randomly add new characters into big ensemble casts like that, because Blade would totally be lost in that shuffle and would not get a proper introduction. It'll either be Midnight Suns, and if they don't crack that story, they'll likely find a way to introduce him in someone else's story, perhaps paving the way for a solo film down the road. Things shift, things change. This is what I've heard in the most recent moment. Frankly, this makes the most sense to me right now, especially the Namor WF route. File under rumor if you want. I'm good with it. Well, I don't know how I feel about this, because uh, they keep saying something about Midnight Suns. Most people don't have any idea who Midnight Suns is. I feel like if you're going to do Midnight Suns, I don't know if you would risk it doing it as a movie. Maybe what needs to happen is, oh my God, what was that Supernatural one-off that they did over on Disney Plus? Maybe they need to do something like that, where Midnight Suns is like a little movie, mini series, whatever, like a 6-episode series or whatever, that you could throw on Disney Plus around the time of Halloween, and have Blade pop up there in some sort of way, and that'll be the launching pad for a Blade solo film. Because I feel like at this day, I mean, honestly, Blade by itself, you put the movie out, depending on how it all looks, people will go see it because it's Blade. I know people are in their feelings, but well, there's only one Blade. It was like, okay. Like, at some point, we got to start moving on and accepting that, you know what, things evolve, things change, people get old, and we need to move on from that. Now, speaking of old, let's get into Mahershala Ali. I don't know how long y'all could develop. I mean, y'all could keep delaying this movie. It's already been delayed for 6 years already. And Mahershala is not getting any younger. Now, let's be clear. His black don't crack. So while he doesn't look like he's 50, them bones say otherwise. Like, you even hear about Keanu Reeves talking about he's 60 years old. He don't know how long he can keep doing John Wick, even though John Wick is getting a fifth one. He said, as long as these knees, the knees be kneeing. So I don't know how long I'm going to be able to sit around and do these films. So you have to realize, like, while we all look, people look youthful on the outside, The insides say otherwise, and that's why you got to think about it in that context. So the point remains: do we still keep benching Mahershala Ali while y'all try to figure the hell out this film? Which I don't understand. What is there to figure out? Like, there's so many comics about Blade that y'all can take from. Or is it really that difficult for people to come up with a story about a daywalker slaying vampires? Like, I don't know if you need to. Everything don't need to be complex. Everything don't need like a multi-episode arc situation or 7 stories being told in one film. Like how y'all be trying to juggle all these little balls in the air with your regular MCU projects. But it's like, give us a straightforward vampire hunter series. And if you want to bring other characters in that are just kind of like popping in and out every now and again, then that's cool. But people just want a straightforward Blade movie. I just don't understand what the hell's taking this so long. Why can't Marvel crack the code? Or is the problem because it's attached to Marvel, where Marvel has a specific formula that they like to stick with, and it's interfering with them trying to develop this franchise? Why don't y'all just kind of like have it be its own thing, like Daredevil, where Daredevil's off doing their own thing? And I heard people having mixed reviews about Daredevil. I don't know what the hell for. Daredevil this season is great. I don't know what the hell y'all are expecting, but I'm thoroughly enjoying Daredevil. I'm a couple episodes behind, but from what I've seen so far, I'm liking the show. And so I just feel like they need to figure out what the hell's going on with this movie. It's sad that they're still trying to figure out how to make things work. And who knows? Maybe they need to just be like, you know what, Mahershala, we'll have you just stick around as a producer. We made this whole big spectacle. Kevin Feige had him come out and be like, oh, look, we got our Blade. Everybody got excited. And now he's just been benched for like damn near 7 years while everybody else is getting their movies off the ground and everybody gets to have their moment. And Mahershala Ali is having to run off and do other roles while y'all try to figure out how the hell to make this character work. So maybe just keep him around as a producer, have him continue to cut a check because y'all owe him for having to have him sit around and waiting for a while. I'm glad he did the Jurassic movie because otherwise he'd probably still be burning through his damn money if he's sitting around waiting for y'all to get a damn movie together. So hopefully all this works out. And if he doesn't end up being Blade, keep him on the side in the background, have him get a producer's credit, and then find somebody else who could play the character that's much younger that you can have in a multi-movie type of contract. I don't know who y'all can get to play, take over for Blade if it doesn't work, and not no damn Wesley Snipes. Like, we need to move on. Wesley Snipes gave us what he gave with the 3 movies he gave us, and then 3.5 because he was in Deadpool and Wolverine. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to this rumor going around that Blade has been shelved indefinitely? I do like the idea of Chad Stahelski coming on board to direct the film, but he's so damn busy right now. He does not have time to come on and give his wherewithal with this franchise. But it would have been cool to see him in this film. And hopefully y'all get it together. Hopefully before 2030 we can get a Blade movie in theaters. So I definitely want to hear from you all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.